Share your screen.
Yeah, I shared it now. Can you see?
Yes, well done.
Okay, what about others?
Yes, yes, Balsam, you can
Yeah,
see.
Vajra.
Okay. See, we'll try to do end-to-end implementation, but with a very small project. So the project is simple. Maybe we'll take files from a folder as an input and add information in it and move the file to output folder. Okay. So this is what we are trying to do, and we'll also see if we can GitHub. Okay.
What is the bitwise? This is different again.
I installed it some for some requirement. Actually forgot why is it used. Check out.
Okay.
Okay. And it's August. So this is week 3, new folder. Okay. We'll start with, see, we have many templates and that we are going with robotic enterprise framework. Okay, and you can use different versions, 2021.10 and 2022.4. Use this template. And this is a file management system. Okay. I think I created it in a different folder. You can just move it. So meanwhile, so if this is the requirement, like this is the thing, can we do this as a performer and dispatcher?
Yes, 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 Vajra.
Yes.
Can we do
How?
it as a single project?
Yes.
So we will see that. So this one with this file management system. Great. So my orchestrator is already connected. I'll just open it. Okay. So this item, I will do something like this. Okay. So this is my shared folder and let's see GitHub open folder. Close file management system control X. Week 3. Yeah. Okay, again, we'll start very small. Maybe we'll go with task capture as well. Even that will give us a correct picture. You can go with anything. Task capture. Close. I'll just create it inside the same documentation folder. Let's add a readme. Okay, if the question is something like, if I want to change the path where the screenshots, exception screenshots will be captured, what is your answer? What is your answer?
Config file.
Where exactly in config file? There are three parts, right?
Set, settings.
Sorry?
Settings.
No, that's in constants.
Constant means it's constant, right?
Yeah, but by default it's in constants.
Okay.
Okay, new document. So I'm starting a diagram. This is an as-is process. File, save. I'm saving it inside the documentation folder. Just remember that. File system, documentation, to big path. Okay. As-is process. The best thing about this particular task capture is you can also create XAML files. We'll see that later, but what is the activity that we need to do? Read, read folder, get all items, all input, all files from input folder. Okay. So for each and every file, add current date and time. I'm just trying to make it very simple. Okay. Then after making, but before that, let's add something. Next item exists. So this is again, I'm just going with as is process. So let's go with this one for each file. Add current date and time and save it. Okay, and move file to output folder. Okay. But before moving this file, there is a requirement like if file extension is not txt, then move it to exceptions folder and and and. So did you understand the process, like what we are trying to do?
Yes, teacher.
What about others?
Vajra.
Did you understand it or not?
It's understood.
Yes. Yes. So what I will do a to be process as well. Okay. So this is as is process file export image. I'm not creating Word documents now. Okay, it will be a start time as this process. So in 2B, we will see two things. First one is performer, second one is dispatcher. We will first try to create both in a single item, then we will try to divide it. Okay. So this is my task capture. New title, rename process document is fine. File, save. Okay, this becomes, I'm just adding swim lanes, two swim lanes. Okay. And this becomes file manager. Okay. Notepad. So I'm not using write text file. I'm using something different. That is type into for each item. So for each item, instead of this one, what I will do is I will check with next item exists. Okay. Add file, add current date and time. Open file. So I'll just add on top of it. Open file, add current date and time. Okay. So in case if the file, if I am not able to open the file, any kind of business rule exception, then log a message stating that the file is not existing. And finally move the folder and end the process. And I'm just adding one sequence over here. All system exceptions. Take screenshot. Send email. Okay. So if there is any item that is with, okay, file exist is yes. This is no. This is yes. Here the value is yes. If it is no, then end the process. Okay. So there can be multiple ends for a process. Don't think that there will be only one. Okay. Now, do you see the difference between both items?
Yes,
So this is our as is process. So sorry. Yes, I hope that is in picture. It's not there. But using this one, let's try to add. So this is a single to be process. This is a single to be process, how we can do it. But now this single to be process. So this one file export as image, file management system, JPG. Where is this file? Downloads. documentation. So this is our as is process. File export as diagram as is. So this is my as is. This is my to be process. So though we have to be process, we can still divide the to be process also. Okay. Let's close this. To be process, Control C, Control V, Control V. So this is to be performer. Function dispatcher. It will not take much time for you to complete the things. Okay, see, I have mentioned here, right? Exception screenshots folder. So EX screenshots folder, but that will be there in as constants. Remember that. Okay, that will be an interview question. So I'm trying to open both. How much time do you think it will take to create this code in RE framework along with queues? Go ahead, answer. Don't be silent. So this is my file management dispatcher. File. Maybe that will be different, but let's just update. This is file management performer. Okay. Now, see what are the roles for dispatcher and performer. Let's go back to notes. Let's just write the activities. See, we are trying to understand the process in multiple ways. If I can just write the code, I can just write the code and I can say it's completed. But see, there will be around 6 members or 7 members who will try to work on a project, and everyone should understand what the other person is trying to do. So it's better to give out proper information. Read file, read folder for each file, open, add current date and time. Okay. Here, if file type is not txt, go to step send exception, query, current date and time, else add current query. Okay, and then go for the next item. So this is our process. This is our complete process. Now let's complete this process in dispatcher and performer methods. Dispatcher, performer. So in these two things, for each file read range, these two things I can move to dispatcher, because the main activity, which is to write in the txt file, I can keep that in the performer. Okay, so these two items I can move to performer. Did you understand how did we divide the code? We are taking the same activities and we are trying to divide to whatever performer is required and whatever dispatcher is required. For each file, add item, add file path, to orchestrator queue. Okay. So we are doing only adding orchestrator. We are adding only item to orchestrator queue. In performer, get transaction item. File path as transaction, get transaction item. Now, for each transaction item, check specific file path. Check transaction item dot specific content of file path dot toString. Okay. Now next step is if the file type is not txt, then send BRE, and else add current date and time, save file. Save file, move file to output folder. Send exception BRE, move file to exception folder. Okay. Is it good? Now, did you understand whatever we are trying to do?
Yes.
Okay. So here, see, this is my task capture performer. So I will not get file items from here. I will not get next item from here. Okay, I can do something like this. Get transaction data. See, this will not be like this is still file manager, but here we can get it something like this one. Get transaction item. Okay, once we have a transaction item, so this comes next. Okay, transaction item is not nothing. Is not nothing. If it is not nothing, then open the file, then add current date and time, extension, and then close. So if the transaction item is not nothing, we cannot continue further. Okay, so this is performer file, export diagram, file management performer. Okay, and then performer is fine. File manager dispatcher. Get file items. Next item exists. This becomes you need not add anything. You can just say orchestrator. We are just trying to add items to orchestrator. Open file is not required. So add file path to orchestrator queue. So after adding file path to orchestrator queue, I can delete this one, delete this one, delete this one. I can just go and check with the next item. Okay. Okay, fine. This I'm not going to end it here because there will be only one end for this particular path. Okay, so get all files. Next item exists, then add items to orchestrator queue. If not, end the process here. Okay, so this is how it will go. So let's go ahead and export it. Export image. So Where is this one? Yeah, file management dispatcher diagram. Okay, so here is go. Here you go. As is process. This contains all the items. This is dispatcher. This is performer. And to be will contain both performer and dispatcher together. But if you are separating it, this is how you can change. See, even in the projects, this is what you need to do. There is nothing different. Even if there is 5 to 10 applications, it doesn't matter. The activity will still be same. Okay, I'm just closing all the items. I'm taking reference of this dispatcher. Okay. I'm not sure how many of you know if a project can have two entries. Main. Okay, I'll just try to add things in one item. So best activity is to mention names properly. File management system. Okay, so the data will be in the input folder. Okay. New. Let's add these files. Okay, I will also add one zip text Excel file, one Word document. I will also add one bitmap image. Okay, so how many items altogether we have? We have close to 5 items. And this is our data input folder. This is output folder. Let's create one more folder called exceptions. Okay. So where will you maintain paths?
Config file.
Best place is to maintain in the assets.
Yeah.
Okay. For now, you can go with the config file. Here, input folder path, output folder path, exception folder path. Okay. And what else? That's it, right? Is that it or anything else? Data folder path. Okay. So just observe. If the folders are inside this particular place, that's fine. But if the folders are not inside the project, then how will you do? I'll just try to add these inside. Sorry. So this is our week 3, right? File management system, folder, file management, data. So we have a separate folder for our data. Understood? Yes, no.
Yes,
I'll also create reports. I'll also create something called reports folder. So this is specifically to create any kind of reports if we want. Now just see. If I use data slash, I don't have anything inside data except config. Everything is there outside here. So how can I map it? I just need to give the path. Okay, in my config, data config, I'll just give the folder path. Okay, so normally how I do is, since this will be static, this particular folder will be static, I will try to give this plus. So this is how I code. it's not required that you should code only like this. So if you can see here at the end, you had input also. Did you get input? In the
Yes.
same way, I can add output as well. So this is just an folder path. Exception. I will also show you how some other members will try to give exceptions as well, or how they will give folder paths. So how they will give is they will directly give the folders. So this is exceptions. So they will take all the path and they will mention. But irrespective of the details, the final value will be same. Is it right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is my input folder. This is my output folder. Tell me one thing. Do I need to create? Okay. First, let's create both dispatcher and performer in one code. Then we will try to divide it. Okay. So this is my initialization. Okay. So how many times do I need to read the input folder for the files? Do I need to read every time all the file paths, or is it only once?
Once.
So can I add it in first run?
Yes.
Okay, I will add it in first run, and after add log fields, I will just add get file info. There will be some activity called read get files. For each file and folder I can use, but okay, let's use for each file and folder. Current folder. So this path I need to give from config data folder path or input folder path. All the files are in input, right? So I need to give config of. Why should I give config?
We need to read it from config.
The data or config will already be read in init all settings. It will be inside config variable. Now from the dictionary, I'm just trying to take the path. Okay. I can give filter. I can also leave it, no problem. So for each item, what I can do, I can add item to orchestrator queue. Add queue item. Okay, let's see where my orchestrator is attached to. Refresh. If I go ahead and see in the resources, this is with queues August 2022 virtual plots. So I can go somewhere here. Yeah, queues, not this one, workspace. Yeah, this is my workspace. Add queue, file management system. So where should I give this queue name?
Settings tab.
Settings.
Settings here. Okay, file management system. Now let's just go back, add queue item. So here, just see, current file is the type and add queue item. This is queue name, right? So can I just give queue name as config of orchestrator queue name?
Yes.
Yes.
Config of orchestrator queue name dot toString. And see, if I want to postpone any specific item, I can postpone. If I want to have a deadline, I can have a deadline. But the main idea is to have information, right? So file path. I can give whatever I want as a name. But here, current file dot path. Just check with what is the attributes. What are the attributes? File path. full name. Okay. Let's have a breakpoint till here and then let's debug the code. Okay. Closing my Excel. Did you understand till now what we have done?
Yes, Vajra.
Yes.
First, we created a folder structure, then we mapped it into config, then we are working on that particular file, like particular project. Okay, now if I add this project into my organization, how much time do you think that this project will take for development and deployment?
One month.
Not specifically required because this is very simple. It can be done within 1 week or 2 weeks.
Oh,
Okay, because the project itself is very simple, right? It's just to move the files, but to have the
yeah.
documentation and all, it will, so we can consider around 1 week, but we can also do it in 1 month. Like we can change each and every log, we can customize the items, but see, you can always waste the time.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fine. So this is my file management system, view transactions, refresh. Let's just see. I will just add a step into and let's see the value. Refresh, new item, view details. So this is my file path. Okay, so I'll just try to hit on continue, breakpoint, continue, removing the breakpoint. So if I just see, do we have all the items added? View details. Now, if I just continue the items, all the items will be successful. Do you know that? Why? If I just continue execution, though I haven't written any code, all the items will be successful. Why? So what happened in the initialization state?
Reading the file folder name here in initialization.
So it's taking all the files and it's adding to orchestrator queue. See, if we just continue, it will in get transaction data, it will pick up each and every item from orchestrator. Okay. And in process, we don't have any code, so it will just continue with end process. Let me just show you. Open workflow, breakpoint, continue. So it came here, it picked up one item. So as soon as it picks up one item, what will be the transaction status of it? Like what is the status? It will be changed to?
In
In
progress.
progress.
Yeah. So the first item became in progress, view details. See here. Okay. Now, if I just continue the code execution, I will just go to process. See, I'll have a breakpoint over here, big nested exception. Continue. Okay. Step into process. There is nothing in the process to work. Started process. Okay. Step into. And since this is successful, it will continue with set transaction status. Now in set transaction status, did it have any error?
No.
No.
So it will be successful. It is moved to successful. Okay, let's remove this one. Continue. Let's remove this one. Continue. Okay, so now do you see all the items are moved to successful?
Yes.
But did the data change? All the details are here and all the exceptions are here. Why it did not change? Why?
Because we didn't write the code to process.
Exactly. So the requirement is something like this. What is this? So the dispatcher part is completed. Like we added all the orchestrator items to queue. Okay. Now the performer part, let's see. Performer part, documentation to be performer. Sorry. Performer diagram. Yeah, so get transaction item we are getting. Transaction item is not nothing end, so it's ending. Open the file, add current date and time. If file extension is not txt, then move the file. So instead of, maybe this diagram is wrong, instead of opening a file before, can't we just check with the file path and then throw an exception? We can do that, right? Understood or not? Here in the diagram, I have mentioned like open the file. Why should we open the file if the extension is wrong? Do you understand my point or not?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes, Vajra.
So here I will get check like if here we'll have two arguments. One argument transaction item, the other argument config. So transaction item is this queue item with all the properties, and queue config is all the settings. So I think both are enough for us, right? From config we are getting all the folder paths, and from transaction item I'm getting the file path. Path dot get extension should give me .txt. Let's first log the message. Log message. So how can I get the file path from orchestrator item, from this particular item? How can I get this file path?
Get transaction data dot specific content.
It's not get transaction data, it's in transaction item. We are getting it as in
Okay.
transaction item dot specific content of double quotes file path dot toString. So this particular value we need to give here. Okay, dot to lower. Okay, that should be equal to txt. Okay, if this is true, then let's log a message and say that correct file path. If that is false, then let's say that this is invalid file. Understood? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's rerun the code. We are taking one step at a time and we are trying to write. That's it. So I'm just writing the log message and I'm running it from main. Items are getting added, completed. So in the output, if you see here, file path added, invalid file name. See here, though we didn't add any logs, we are able to get details properly. We started a process. This is the file path. This is invalid because of BMP. Okay, next one. This is also invalid. Next, file path RTF. This is also invalid. Copy path txt. This is also getting invalid. We need to see why. This is also getting invalid. Okay. So let's just see. This is how I normally debug the process. Open the items. file path we are getting, this is matching to this particular item, to lower dot to string. So what we can do is we can just copy this path and we can log it, log message, or else I can do something like this. I'll keep a breakpoint over here, debug. So till now we haven't seen anything with immediate panels, right? Immediate panel, local, we didn't see that. Is it right or not?
Yes, Vajra. We didn't see.
So there are multiple ways where we can check the current execution. One way is locals, where you can see all the current variables, what is their current value. So if you see here, this is in transaction item, it has multiple values like status, it is in progress, specific content, the value, last processing on nothing, retry number is nothing, ID, it has specific ID, it has item keys. So all these are properties for that particular transaction item. Along with that, we have config values, keys, values, and all. Now, if you see here, this is item, if condition, I can add or check the details at three places. Immediate panel to show me the dynamic value. It is .bmp. Now, did you understand why we are not getting this as true?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we are checking with txt, but it is coming as .txt. Okay. So that is the reason. And I can also, this immediate panel where I can write or I can use it as dynamic decoder or editor. I can see what are the variables in config of I can see all the values. Orchestrator queue name. So this is not giving me why ORCH. Okay, this is wrong. ORCHESTRATUR. Okay. So the other window is locals. Here I can see the values which are available in the current context. In the immediate panel, sorry, in the watch panel, I can watch or monitor one particular value continuously, like something like this one. So this will always be there, and whenever there is a new change, this gets updated or dynamically gets updated. So why do we need to use this? In locals, we have hundreds of, there can be some multiple local items with multiple variables. But if I want to verify or check only with one item, then I can go with watch. Okay, I'm watching it every time. So let's continue. And okay, first let's stop it. Okay, now I stopped the item without setting the status. So now what will be its status? It is in progress there, right? When the status of this particular item will be changed?
After 24 hours,
What will it be moved to?
abandoned if we don't process it again.
If we don't update it again,
Update.
it moves to abandon. Okay. Okay, fine. So this is the correct file path and this is the value. So let's go ahead and debug and see. This is the one. I will also keep my immediate panel. Just check it out. Immediate panel, sorry, watch panel. So now if you see what is the watch item, what is the item here?
XLSX.
Continue. So if you see here, XLSX invalid file path. Next one is RTF. This gets updated. RTF. Now, did you understand the difference between watch panel, locals, and immediate? Yes or no?
Yes.
Immediate. See, this immediate panel, you need to write some variable in it. Only then you can find the current value. In locals, at that current context, whatever the values are there, every value you can see. But immediate window, oh sorry, in the Where is this? In the watch panel, you can assign one variable. Whenever the variable have a value, it will show it here. Now this is txt. If you see here, this is going to correct file path. Continues. This txt. Continue. Continue. So can you guys wait for 15 minutes more? We will just move it to production as well.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay. So we have all the items completed. Now my requirement still remains the same. What is that? The input files are still in the folder. It is not moving to output. Okay. So how can I do that? So if that is in the correct path, then I will open the file. So for that, I will use open notepad, use application or browser. Here I will open notepad, indicate application. Okay, so if you want to open any file, any application with with a file, then you can pass the file path as an argument. Remember that. So this is my file path, right? I can just pass it as an argument so that it will open. If you want to show me how, see, this is my notepad, right? If I just add space and if I just add this particular path input or this path, where is this? Open. Can you see? So the same type of opening will also happen when you're giving it in the arguments. So you're opening a notepad with this particular file. Understood or not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Type into. I'm just using type into and I'm clicking over here. Classic editor and then confirm. Okay, and the type into can be now.toString. Okay, and then close. See, here I will have open and close only in this particular item. Save. Because I need to save the file, right? If I just close it, it will throw an error. So I will send a hotkey. Keyboard shortcuts. Record shortcut Control S. Sorry. Record shortcut Control S. Come on. Yeah, so now I will save it and close. Okay, so here properties, I will open the item always. I will close the item always. So this way I need not have multiple options. I have single application to open and close everything. In the invalid file path, so what do we need to do? One more thing we need to do. We need to move file to exceptions
Bajrang, you are not audible.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, Vajra.
Yes.
Till when I'm audible?
When you said we need to move to exceptions folder.
Yeah. So we also need to move to output folder, right? After completion of an input, after
Yes.
completion of an item. So this particular path I'm taking from here, like the input folder path. I'll copy and I'll paste. And in the destination, I will write in config of. Can I just write output folder path here? I'm just moving the file to output folder. So the config value will be here. Output folder path. .toString. Okay. Now I'll do the same thing here on the right. But instead of output folder path, what should I use? Exception folder path. Okay. Done. So each and every item will move. But after completion of that item, it should throw a business exception. Is it right?
Yes.
I'll tell you why.
Right.
I'll tell you why. So if I don't throw any business rule exception, then that particular item will move to success state. I'm executing. I'll just debug it so that you can see the items. Closing this one. Save. Let's just see process. So the type is BMP. File, invalid file path. Move. Let's just verify that. The file moved from here to exceptions. Okay. Understood the logic?
Yes, Vajra.
Okay. Here, place folder, we have we may have error with this one, but let's okay, I'll just remove the breakpoint and continue. So the output folder, okay. Okay. Saved, closed. Okay, see here, there is an issue with moving this file. Cannot create a file. The file already exists. That's what it's saying. Let's just see. Refresh. File. Let's just see what is the output. Output folder path. Cannot move it. Config value. Placeholder copy.txt. So this is my data. Okay, now this one. This is my data. Output not there. Input. Output folder. So it's trying to move to this particular folder, output folder. Config file path. Okay, the issue is not having a proper path. Okay, so now this is an exception, right? We did not write any code to solve this exception. Is it right or not?
Yes.
But let's see what will be the result since we haven't written anything. But let's continue with whatever we have. So it's just closed, but let's see with the output. Cannot create a file which is already available. Cannot create a file already exists and it moved. And it took a screenshot for us and it's saved. Data, sorry, screenshots. This particular folder. Okay, and If you can see that took a exact screenshot of that current exception. So we haven't written any code, but the code is already there to show us with system exception. Why this is a system exception? Can you tell me why this is a system exception?
Because it is not able to move the application file.
Because this is not custom generated. This is generated by system only, like code generated this application or error, but not us. Okay, so let's just open this one. So this is having the file. So what we normally do is, instead of having the files like this, we will create a output file path. Let's just assign it. Assign Control K, output str, output file path. Okay, so I'll take the config folder, path. So if I have config value, then till where I will get the path? I'll get it till output, right? Is it right or not?
Yes.
Okay, there can be one more issue. The bot might be reading only as this particular item only as you can say something like only the value instead of the complete item. But let's just see. Let's just see from the code and then decide. So this particular item, Control Shift T. So till output you will get. So can I just add double quotes slash and the file name to move the file to a particular location? So we had path till here. Okay. So can I just add one more slash and then file name, like placeholder like this, to get the correct path?
Yes, we can add.
Okay. So I already have the file path over here. I'll just add it here. Control Shift T slash plus path dot get file name. So let's just see what is the value, then we'll continue. And here I will give str output file path. Understood what I did? Now I'm just trying to log a message or trying to check what is the value before moving the file. Now, how many items do we have in input folder? Will it execute for all the items or will it execute only for these two items?
For these
Only
two
for
items.
these two.
Yeah. Saved, closed. Let's just see. So here str output file path. So this is null. The value came like this. So can you see here? Till output, input slash output. That's the problem that it's getting. Okay, so here in the path, it's coming as input slash output. So while giving this value or config value, I made a mistake. This particular path, this value should be B7 always. Now we will have a correct path. Okay, file management data slash output. So earlier what it was getting, file management data slash input slash output. That was the reason it's throwing an error. Understood now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now I can directly give the path, but let's just continue. So if you see what is the main error at that particular time, then we will be able to identify or currently move it. Okay, continue. Continue. Okay. I think the error is happening because it is not having a new file in its place. Let's just continue. Let's see. So again, we have a file name with error because the file name is already existing in the output, like this particular item output. This file is already there. And because we did not clear the queue items, it added two more new items and it's continuing. Did you understand what error did we get? So when I executed previously, I already have a file with name 3. Now when I stopped it and I re-executed it, right? So it again came into the queue item. So this is already completed, but again, it's asking me, should I create it again or not? So we did not handle this particular error. Is it right?
It's good. Okay.
So now what is the expected output? Is it system exception or not?
System exception.
So it will take a error screenshot and it will save. Okay. So if you see the items queue, any system exception will have a failure of a type application exception with the details where the exception is stored and the reason. Cannot create a file which is already exists. Understood? Yes, no.
Yes, Ajay.
Yes, Vajra.
Okay. Done. So what we will do in the input folder, replace. Okay, see, I have said right that here we should raise a business rule exception. Here, after moving the item, like uh, let's write a throw activity. This throw activity, let's go with properties, new business rule exception, and in this business rule exception, invalid file type. Okay. And we can also mention what is the file path. So we can give the details as many details in this. So let's get this one. I can give something like this. Valid file path. So this is the path I'm trying to give. So let's just continue. So is this a system exception or business rule exception?
Business exception.
Business
So
rule exception.
will the bot take screenshot every time this comes?
No.
Okay, so to avoid errors, like we used to get like file already exist error, right? I just checked on overwrite. So if there is already a file, it will just overwrite. Okay, let's just run the file. Run the items. Queue. See, we started an hour back, but we executed around 29 items. Just see if we are executing in production, how many items will we get? So this will be very helpful and it will always help you to maintain the status and the current activity, whatever it is. Okay, now let's see the input. There are no values in input, output. So output files are moved. This is what we have. And everything is done. Now tell me one thing. How many of you have your orchestrators available with your studio? We'll take next 10 minutes to complete this and execute in your machines. How many of you have your orchestrator with your studio?
Actually, available. It's getting error version. I have to see that.
Okay. One last thing that I will do here is I will just move my assets folder. See, there is some issue. Okay. Normally, when I move this code here, okay, I'll move this code to your file and I will tell what I will do. So there are multiple ways to publish the code. Okay. Now, if I publish into my custom folder, did you remember that we created custom packages or not? You did not remember or you remembered them? See, how will I share the code with everyone, or how will I move the code to production? I cannot give the UiPath code files. I need to give a package file. Okay, so publish to, and here I need to select custom so that I can use custom URL. If I need to share it or update it in the orchestrator, I can use any one of the item. Publish. Okay, this gets created. Now I will just ask everyone to upload it to your orchestrator. Hi team, let's understand that this is an email. Edit. So am I sharing my code files with you all? Yes or no? Did I share my code files with you?
Yes, yes.
No, I did not share any code files with you. This is the library file that's generated or a package file. You will have exe files, right? .exe when you try to install any application. This is one such file that is executed in UiPath by UiPath robot. Okay. So you will not be able to see the code that I have written. You will not be able to do anything else. Understood?
Yes.
Okay. Now your activity is to download this one. Can someone share their screen? I need someone with orchestrator access connected to their machines. Last 2 minutes or last 5 minutes. Okay, now tell me one thing. Did we create requirements properly? Like, did we do the documentation for this process?
Yes,
Did we write code?
Yes, we written.
yes,
Did we move it to different environment? Now we are trying to move, right?
Yes.
yeah.
Now you can either approve it or reject it. That's your chance or your choice. Okay. Who is sharing the screen? If you none of you are sharing the screen, then I will close the meeting.
Yeah, I'm sharing.
Yeah, go ahead, Krishna.
I'm just exporting the package into orchestrate. Yeah, Vajra. Hello.
So now go and upload the package. First thing, go to your assistant, UiPath assistant.
Yeah, uploaded already.
You upload it. Can you see the package name?
Yeah.
Where is it? File management system. Click that and start the process. Go to jobs. Go to which folder is it connected to? IT.
Yeah.
Go to process. Create a process. See, a job is just a code. A process will tell you where that code should execute. File management system. Start with that process. Yeah. Next. Create. Close. Can you start the job?
Yeah.
So let's assume that Krishna is a tester who will not have studio access. He will have only the production, the UAT or test environment orchestrator, and he will not even be given with this robot. He will be just asked to execute it. Why are you executing it from here? Don't execute from here, Krishna.
Yeah.
You should execute it from orchestrator only.
Mm.
Start. So the file management system is successful. Can you see the logs? What is it saying? System exception. What happened? Just read the message. What happened?
Not find the part of the path. This path is having.
Yeah, that code is my machine, is in my machine. How can that will be available in your machine? That cannot be possible, right?
Yeah.
So as a developer, this is as a tester, if you want to raise, this is a bug, and you can take the screenshot and send me. You can just take that screenshot and post it in the Teams channel. Testing failed because there is no folder path.
Okay.
Understood, everyone? See, I'm not showing you the success scenarios only here. So this is not the one that you need to take a screenshot.
Okay.
This is not the one. You need to send me the exception, not the log.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I need to
Vajrang,
do now? Yeah, tell me, Pratyusha.
no, actually, after you sent the code, right, that new peg thing, after that,
NuGet
what
package.
exactly? That after you sending the package,
We uploaded the
what?
code to orchestrator tenants packages.
But um, how it will come to our orchestrator
He uploaded the code to
from
his
assistant?
orchestrator. No, from orchestrator only. Share your screen.
My orchestrator is not connected. Wait, it's connected. 1 second, I'll share. Yeah.
Yeah. Go to dev.
Go to
Dev. Did you download the package that I have shared?
no.
Download it.
You shared anything?
Yeah, there. It's there, right? Click on file management system download. Download.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it will be there in your local machine.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, you can upload that in your tenant. Tenant. Go to tenant. Packages. Upload package.
Upload.
Map the package. Yeah, upload. That's it. See, I'm not sharing the code with you. I'm sharing only the library file on NuGet package file.
Yeah.
Now it's done. You can execute the bot.
Okay.
Create a process and execute the bot.
Okay.
Now, did you understand how you
Yeah.
got it in your files? So this is how we share the code without DevOps. DevOps, we are just starting. So you will not get any questions on have you implemented DevOps. You can just say that no, I haven't implemented. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
So is this clear for everyone? Did you understand the complete flow? We also have given it for testing and the testing also failed. Tomorrow we'll see how we can edit the code in such a way, and we will also try to write some deployment sheet.
Okay.
Bajrang, what is
Yeah,
DevOps
Murali.
like? You are saying something like.
That's what you will not get it right. Then you ask me. Okay, see, DevOps is something like, okay, now I have created and I have given you the file, right? To upload.
Yes.
Now, whenever I commit the code, the NuGet package will be created on by itself and it will be moved to orchestrator. So there will be background scripting that will be done.
Okay.
Okay, that's you can ignore it, but I'm just trying to tell you that we are just starting it now. It will take around 1 year for all the organizations to implement it. Some might have already implemented, but that's not a mandatory thing for a RP developer to know. So can we close for the session today? How did you enjoy? Did you enjoy this session or not?
Yes, Vajra, we enjoyed.
Yes, Vajrang.
Good.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, one small request. So this Saturday, I'm trying to keep a demo session for all the new members. If possible, please do attend that and try to give your feedbacks in the demo session. Hope the feedbacks are good. Whatever it is, just give it out. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you. Thanks everyone. Bye bye. Have a great day.
Bye bye. Thank you, Vajrang.
Thank you all.